Thank you so much for that wonderful address, Carl. It is really a pleasure to be able to honor you in this way. In his talk just now, Carl spoke of the need to draw upon the resources and insights of past Christian thinkers in order to tackle and gain new perspective on the challenges of the present. And one of my favorite quotes on this topic is from CS Lewis, after whom we named this award. It's from a little essay he wrote called On Reading Old Books, which appears in a preface to one of the very best little old books, St. Athanasius' On the Incarnation. In this essay, Lewis observes, "Every age has its own outlook. It is especially good at seeing certain truths, it's especially liable to make certain mistakes. We all, therefore, need the books that will correct the characteristic mistakes of our own period. And that means the old books. All contemporary writers seem to share, to some extent, the contemporary outlook, even those like myself who seem most opposed to it. The only palliative is to keep the clean sea breeze of the centuries blowing through our minds. And this can be done only by reading old books." Now, as we just heard from Dr. Truman, our own age certainly has its own outlook, and much of that outlook is quite an alarming one. We're liable to find ourselves trapped within that outlook of our own age, whether we blindly accept it, or even if we are trying to find our way out of it. We cannot gain the outside perspective that we need. We cannot gain Christian wisdom without this clean sea breeze of the Christian centuries blowing through our minds. Since most of you live near DC, I think many of you see this every day. So much of what happens here in DC remains stuck within the cacophony of the contemporary moment. It's so trapped within the echo chamber of its own self-importance. Perhaps nowhere else can one hear so much chatter to so little effect, so many people spouting so much information while displaying so little wisdom. This is why we here at Davenant have started a reading group of young policy analysts and Hill staffers who are reading together our magazine Ad Fonte, seeking to gain this wisdom of the Christian past in order to apply it to the challenges of their own political locations. But DC is not unique in this problem of information without wisdom. It's simply a vivid picture of what has happened to our civilization as a whole. Drowning in information, yet mired in ignorance, quick to speak but slow to listen. The great Samuel Johnson once observed, "It is observed that a corrupt society has many laws. I know not whether it is not equally true that an ignorant age has many books. When the treasures of ancient knowledge lie unexamined, and original authors are neglected and forgotten, compilers and plagiarists are encouraged, who give us again what we had before, and grow great by setting before us what our own sloth had hidden from view." I don't know of any quote that captures quite so well the reason that the Davenant Institute exists. This year, Davenant will celebrate its 10th anniversary. The story started a decade ago when I was finishing up my PhD on freedom and authority in the English Reformation. I was excited by the profound and urgent contemporary relevance of the things that I was studying, but the people who needed to hear it were nowhere in sight. Grad school taught me how to talk to other academics, but not church leaders or culture shapers. Even worse, grad school, like the academy generally, tends to only value what is new, not what is old. Indeed, that's the whole imperative behind academic conferences, dissertations, publications, and all the rest. You're there to present some new idea. But as I think you know, at this stage of human history, at least in most domains, it's pretty hard to come up with a genuinely new idea, or at least a good one. Right? I mean, transgender surgery may be a new idea in history, but it's pretty terrible. So if you're training to be an academic theologian, you seem to be left with two choices. You either publish some really bad new ideas, or you try to pass off old ideas as if they were new. And you generally fail to express them half as clearly and eloquently as the old masters did. So I realized this couldn't be right. The church needed the riches from its past, and it needed them now. So with a band of friends, I launched the Davenant Institute with the motto, Attendite ad petrum unde exquici estis. Look to the rock from which you were hewn. Our goal was to get that clean sea breeze of the centuries blowing again through the windows of Protestant churches, which are so particularly bad, I think, at neglecting the resources of the Christian past, and are particularly inept at exercising the kind of cultural leadership in our society that is so urgently needed from them at our current moment. Now, in the beginning, we weren't quite sure how we were going to do this. We had no idea how we were going to fund this. But one thing we knew for sure, we weren't going to the past out of mere nostalgia or antiquarianism. We must not look backward wistfully to escape the present, as dark as it may be. But we must look backward to gain new vision with which to confront the present. We do not read the old masters to mindlessly parrot their ideas, but so that we can learn to imitate their own intellectual craft, their own search for wisdom. I think Carl here is a great example of this. He started his career as an incredibly attentive student of 17th century theology. And the skills and perspective that he gained through that study equipped him to become one of the keenest analysts of our topsy-turvy 21st century moment. He writes about things that would have, that were beyond the wildest imaginings of John Owen and Oliver Cromwell. And this, I think, is what we are trying to do at the Davenant Institute. We're trying to retrieve the riches of classical Protestantism, to renew Christian wisdom in the contemporary church, and equip Protestants today to exercise anew the spiritual, cultural, and political leadership that they once displayed, including, most notably, in our founding era. We do this work in three main ways. First, we retrieve the sources, mining the legacy of Reformational Protestantism and reflecting on its contemporary relevance through our publishing work at the Davenant Press. We've published nearly 40 titles now to date, of which you can see a small selection there on the back table. We also are reimagining theological education through our innovative programs at Davenant Hall. We're refounding the medieval university for the digital frontier and translating the faith from the scholar's study to the churches and the streets. If you'd like to hear more about the exciting work we're doing at Davenant Hall, I'd encourage you to talk to my VP here, Colin, who's the provost of Davenant Hall, and has been a real force behind the programs that we're developing there. Finally, what we seek to do, and this gets back to the remarks Carl was making about the importance of embodied relationships for the work that we're called to do as Christians. We seek to reforge the bonds of friendship that are at the foundation of any sustainable reforming work. We're seeking to build a community of like-minded men and women equipped with the fearlessness of wisdom. So we do this especially through our Davenant House Study and Retreat Center in the Carolinas, next door to where I live. We're so grateful that all of you have chosen to support our work of Retrieval and Renewal by attending this event here tonight. Many of you have been part of our Army of Friends for many years now, and some of you are here for the first time. Either way, I hope that you'll come away from this event eager to get more involved. As we approach our 10th anniversary, we have some exciting opportunities that we're hoping to pursue and some needs that we're seeking to meet. So first of all, while we love old books, and we really want people to read them, we also recognize that digital technology can be used in effective and valuable ways. And it's a key way of reaching a lot of people through the medium that they're most accustomed to. So one of the things we're investing in right now is developing video resources. Just this week, on Monday, we launched our first major video series. It's a 20-hour lecture series by our teaching fellow, Alistair Roberts, called An Introduction to Biblical Wisdom. And we're hoping to do, we want to do 5 more of these video series within the next 2 years, which is going to cost us around $50,000. That's something we're actively fundraising for. Now, because we think that in-person community is so important, we want to embed these video productions at our residential study center at Davenant House. So we had Alistair come out there and film them at Davenant House and invited the local community. We had pastors and we had ordinary Christians from around the area. Some people drove in from several hours away to come and see these lectures. So we're hoping to do more of that in the years ahead. And to do that, our hope this coming year is to get a teaching fellow in residence at Davenant House who can simultaneously help us build up the community of conversation there, who can disciple the students that we're bringing through our Davenant Hall program, and can also help us produce more film lecture material. So we're looking to raise $40,000 a year on billing to fund this role. Also, as part of that, we need to be good stewards of the beautiful property that we've been gifted there. In fact, we're looking to invest at least $250,000 over the next 5 years to build, to sustain, and grow the Davenant House Study Center as the focal point for the army of friends that makes Davenant so special. So all of these needs are funded by the partnership of donors like you. If you want to make a gift to support our work here in this crucial 10th anniversary year, you find a little donation card in your brochure on your table. There's a QR code on the back, or you can also make a gift by check and leave it on the back table. Or if you'd like to learn more about our work here at Davenant, first I would love to talk to you, as would my colleagues Colin and Marina and Michael. We really would love to get to know you better. We're really grateful that you've come out to be a part of this inaugural award event. So to that end, if you aren't too tired, we hope that you'll join us afterward for the after party that is hosted at the Institute on Religion and Democracy, just around the block. So we'll be heading over there at around 9:30 or so, and we'll staying pretty late. So if you have no other plans this evening, or can afford to stay out late, please do join us there. On your way out, please be sure to grab the complimentary book at your spot. This is one of our newest publications, and one of the ones we're most excited about, that we think showcases a central part of the work we're doing, Protestant social teaching. And do check out all the other materials on the book table. So thank you again so much for joining us this evening.